That would help, wouldn't it? Yes, Tiana, you are indeed on the right chat, as are you, Shalini. You are indeed on the right chat tonight. Please excuse the fact that we have a 20-second delay in the stream tonight. Don't ask me why it's doing it. I have no idea why. I couldn't tell you. It's ridiculous because that's gonna greatly impact our actual discussions. But alas, it doesn't matter because we are here, we are live, and there has been one hell of an exciting announcement today here in the United Kingdom. We knew it was coming as theme park enthusiasts. I've made videos about it before on the channel, and I also have a drone ready to go so that we can document the construction over the next 6 years. But Comcast Universal Parks and Experiences, in connection with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, have today gone to Bedford College, or one of the colleges in Bedford, and formally announced that Universal Studios UK is being built right here in the UK, in Bedford, in Kempston Hardwick. And this thing it's all systems go. I mean, they say construction is going to begin 2026, but I imagine ground clearing, land clearing, that will be sooner rather than later because they've got 6 years. They've set a date of 2031 to open this resort here in the UK, which means they have 6 years to get this thing built. And by this thing, I don't just mean a theme park. We're talking Universal Studios UK, the theme park, or Universal Studios Great Britain. They're going to be building a city walk area. And for those of you who don't know what a city walk area is, it's a shopping and dining complex that's free to enter. You don't have to have a ticket to enter it. Anybody can turn up and enter a city walk. There'll be themed restaurants, shops, and the like that usually open very, very late into the night. They're also building at least one 500-room hotel. Alongside that, there'll be parking infrastructure, upgrades. They're building a brand new train station as well in Bedford. They're going to upgrade the Wixham train station and make road infrastructure upgrades as well. Say hi, says ZK Fam. Hi, ZK Fam. What a day indeed, Mr. Coaster Journey. I'm going to try my best to keep an eye on the horizontal chat tonight because we've had to sort of chuck together a janky way of doing things, but it should work. Yes, Shalini, we will get there because alongside this announcement, they have released a piece of concept art that will cover what the resort will look like. And I have to go ahead and say, with the tight deadlines that we're getting here, this probably is what the park is going to look like. So with that, we're going to spend some time now poring over that concept art, taking a look at the individual areas. We're going to speculate as to what the rides might be, what entertainment may be coming, food options, and the like, and start this journey together, which is going to last at least 6 years on this channel as we cover the construction of this extremely exciting world-class theme park resort here in the United Kingdom. So it's gonna look a bit janky for a minute. I apologize, but we will endeavor to get it right. So I think that's right for the vertical. I think that's right for the horizontal. And then we should be able to bring up the concept art if you guys can see it. Hello there, James Ambarata on the vertical stream. And if you haven't already, please click like and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. This is it. This is the Universal Studios theme park that we will be getting here in the United Kingdom, here in Bedford. So what I think we're going to have to do is we're just going to start at the front. We're going to work our way around. We're going to take a look at the individual areas and we're going to see what's what. So if I do this correctly, we should be able to zoom in and enhance a little bit just to see what we've got here. And obviously, we're starting with the iconic Universal Globe and the iconic Universal Archways. Dread Eyes on the wrong stream somehow, but good evening to you, sir. Tiana says, I'll be 23, 22 by then. Shalini says, I'll be in my mid-50s by then, but hey, I can still go. Everyone can go, and that's the point. Well, if we can afford to, of course. I can see... I will address the chat with regards to certain other rides here in the UK in a bit. But we have this sort of entrance Main Street Plaza style area, which is quite new for a Universal, but Universal are now doing this whole Central Lagoon thing. So what we have to remember is this park should be pretty unique, because one of the biggest markets to the, well, especially the Floridian parks, is the Brits, or are the Brits. So you won't be seeing much, if anything at all, from the Floridian parks over there in Florida being cloned into this park. Because the last thing Universal would want to do is have that market which flies over there, the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Brits that fly over there annually. They don't want to dilute that market down and have these people go, well, you know, we can get that ride here at home now. Which puts us in a good position, because it means we're going to get not just a carbon copy or a clone or something unique. How will this compare to Disney Paris? Well, we'll get on to all of that in a bit, Vaughn. So we're just going to go through it bit by bit. But the weird thing, the odd thing that I find, and this is something different even for a Universal park, is right here in the middle of our screens is the hotel. Now, Universal Studios in Beijing have toyed with the idea of copying Disneyland Paris, and by that I mean the hotel for that park is over the entrance. But this is sort of off to the side. We've got the entrance over here, and we've got the 500 room, I guess it's going to be some kind of grand hotel right here at the side, and perhaps there will be a private entrance onto this sort of Main Street Plaza area. And I'm assuming, looking at this section here, this is where your hotel pool's going to be, because let's face it, the UK's climate, not that great. It's the UK. So when it comes to things like a hotel pool, that's just not going to be outside. So let's move up a bit and take a look right here in the middle of our screens. And yes, it's quite a bit blurry, but if I was to hazard a guess, this is DreamWorks. And by that, I mean, you'll get a little, you know, kiddies area for Trolls or Shrek or maybe even How to Train Your Dragon. But that's what this sort of area appears to be. Sort of kiddie rides, not as much of a thrilling experience as much of the other, you know, areas of the park are going to be. So, yeah, that's where I think we're going to find our representation for not only children's rides, but your characters like your Shreks and your Hiccups and your Toothless and things like that. Now we're going to move over here, because I think this is the most interesting part of the entire thing. I might have to zoom out a bit just so you can see it properly. This roller coaster off to the right. Now, off to the left, sorry. So now if we zoom in on here, on this sort of entrance plaza area to this coaster, to my eye, that could well be Hill Valley. And for those who don't know what Hill Valley is Back to the Future. So this sort of on the back end, this looks like the Hill Valley Clock Tower / courthouse. The Hill Valley Town Square. And then this very unique looking coaster. And by unique, I mean, I don't think anyone in the theme park world has attempted or seen anything quite like this. This appears to be some kind of multi-launch roller coaster. This appears to be either a top hat or a spike, which means that the train, if it is a spike, will ride up and back down, and then perhaps a switch track. But what gets me is that there are 4 tracks very clearly going into that spike. Holiday Honk says, makes sense having the music there too for Back to the Future. Could have Marty playing his guitar, etc. 80s music. Yeah, I completely agree. And what a, stroke of genius it would actually be to have a launch coaster that, 0 to 88 miles an hour. Stroke of genius indeed. So we can speculate who that manufacturer will be, but as they have such a good working relationship at the moment, one might suggest that probably all of the coasters in this park are going to be done by Intamin. Maybe Mack, but I think if we were to be betting, probably Intamin. Now, Shalini, good things come to those who wait. We will get to what you are asking. But it's going to take some time. Because we're taking a good in-depth look and speculation as to what this is going to be. Yes. Holiday Honk is ruining it in the chat already. It's fine. But this next land over here on the left, this is very clearly Jurassic World, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jurassic Park / Jurassic World. And inside this very large show building, I have it on good authority from people who are somewhat in the know that this will be a clone of the Jurassic World adventure in Beijing. So Universal Studios Beijing in China is not really that accessible to us in the United Kingdom. We don't really, as a country, go over to China. It's not really something we do. Now, the opportunity is there, the ability is there, but it's just not a country that we travel to that much. Tiana says, I'm sad about Potter, at least you'll be very early 20s. Now, just because there is no Potter, so let's get that out the way with now. In this concept art, there is no Harry Potter. Well, it doesn't appear to be anyway. But just because it's not there now does not mean it won't be in the park or represented in the park at some point in the future, because Universal Studios parks tend to expand. The land that they have here in Kempston Hardwick does actually allow for the construction of 2 parks. And there also does appear to be a possible option for purchasing even more land. So we're just going to have to remember that. So this here, the Jurassic World Adventure. Up until Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry opens, which is it's in soft opening now, and it's going to open properly in May over at Universal's Epic Universe over in the United States. Kind of one of the most technically advanced rides in the world. The vehicles and, tracked system within there is provided by Oceaneering. Oceaneering also provided the vehicles for things like Spider-Man, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, at Universal's Islands of Adventure, and previously Universal Japan. Transformers The Ride 3D, which has now been cloned throughout a few of the Universal parks. And I'm actually pretty shocked it isn't here, because, yeah. Hello there, Inferno Rides. I see you up in the vertical chat. Lisa says Potter is too close to the WB Potter, I suspect. Well, maybe, because the WB Potter and this they're 2 very different animals at the end of the day. This is an actual theme park experience, whereas the studio tour, the draw of the studio tour for Harry Potter is come and see where the movies were filmed. Come and take a look and go on the actual sets, and that's not what this is. what is it with park creatures and massive lakes? Right. So this is Universal's sort of design at this point, and their latest park over in Inferno Rise says, I think we will get Back to the Future launch coaster. I think they'll try and make the vertical spike the tallest in the UK. Well, we've just covered that, Inferno Rides. We've just covered that. But yes, I think you're possibly right. And then people are suggesting that these are drop towers directly here in the middle. Quite possible, because Universal have dabbled in drop towers in the past over at Islands of Adventure, for example. You've got Doctor Doom's Fearful, which are, I believe, S&S shot towers / drop towers. But it's not really something that Universal have continued trend-wise to put into their parks. But what lies inside this building is probably going to be the single most exciting ride in the United Kingdom. And the only place currently in the world that you can experience it is in Beijing, China. And like I said, danger. Do you think that... So, hold on, I got a question in the chat over on the vertical from Inferno Rides. Do you think this will impact Merlin? I think they will survive, as Alton is in a loan market in the north and can survive with Thorpe Park being frill. It will last, but Chessington is in the danger zone. Yes, Inferno Rides, this is going to be the Jurassic World adventure. It's going to be a clone of it. I don't think Merlin is going to survive in its current form, and that is simply because they are in such financial dire straits right now as it is. And yes, they've got 6 years. They've got 6 years, and they're going to restructure the company. I believe they're moving to sell off all the Sea Life centres as we speak. But I just don't think that Merlin in its current form will survive as a company. And if they don't step up their game, even at Alton Towers, I feel, if they don't step up their game and make their theme parks actually theme parks, people will choose this over that. Yes, this will be significantly more expensive for a day ticket. It will. That's just going to be the way things are. Your cheapest way to get into here is either going to be to get an annual pass or to get, packages with the hotel or multi-day tickets and the like. But Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, Chessington, and I don't really include Legoland in this, but these 3 parks have called themselves theme parks for the longest time. And I see how they try to be theme parks, but like Blackpool Pleasure Beach, what they really are amusement parks. And they do the most lackluster and minimal theming of an area or a ride or an attraction to try and step over that line, so to speak, of being called a theme park. And I'm not knocking Merlin with that. That's just my, completely autistic observation. And being a Universal and Disney theme park aficionado, someone who loves themed entertainment and has done my entire life, I'm not willing to call these places theme parks. Not yet, anyway. And coming back to Inferno Rides, Merlin is trying with IPs, with Minecraft, but I'm sure that comes with its cost. The budget cuts and everything isn't looking good. If they close, companies will look at Thorpe and Alton. Yeah, and the parks themselves will probably survive. But I'm not so sure that they will survive under the Merlin umbrella. 10 years down the line, that company's going to look extremely different to what it does now. Inferno Ride says, entirely agree with them being amusement park more than a theme. Swarm was the end of that. Nemesis having a military theme makes it easy to budget, even with the fencing. It's a shame to see. I completely agree. And I didn't step up to towers in 2024. And hopefully I will step up to Towers this year in 2025. I'm looking forward to seeing Towers again because I haven't been there for a few years. No, Inferno Rides, and this is why we're here, right? We've got 2 streams going at the same time, by the way, on the same channel. So the other chat where you can actually converse with other people who are conversing in a chat, if you go to the channel and find the one that doesn't say vertical, they've both got the same thumbnail. There's people over there as well. So just you can chat with them in the chat as well. It's not just me. People like to have the option to go horizontal or vertical, so it's entirely up to you. And yes, Lisa, they will streamline as well. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to keep up with 2 chats at once, so it's great to see you guys actually talking about this and things like that. So let's move up anyway to just to the right of the Jurassic World show building, because there seems to be another extremely large thrill coaster. Extremely large thrill coaster placed right here. It doesn't look like a launch coaster, but it is a large, perhaps clone of the Flying Dinosaur. Well, it's certainly not a clone, but along that sort of guise. But a very large thrill coaster appears to have multiple inversions. Large out and back layout, comes out over the water. Looks very good. And then we've got people here proclaiming that this could possibly be some kind of land theme to Wicked. I'm not sure I see that. I know that Universal have the theme park property IP and rights to Wicked, but whether or not that comes to pass here in the United Kingdom, yes, it's certainly something different, but maybe not. Tiana says, that coaster reminds me of the Hulk in Orlando. It doesn't remind me of that. I can see where you're coming from, but it doesn't remind me of that. This actually looks bigger in scale than the Hulk, and the Hulk is a big coaster, and they cloned it over in Universal Beijing once again for, was it Transformers Echo Base or something along those lines? But it's what's just above this coaster that does also seem to have a bunch of people talking, and this, to my eye, this is just Waterworld. So if you've been to Universal Studios in Hollywood, or indeed, once again, I believe Beijing, and do they have a copy of it in Japan? Quite possibly in Osaka as well. Waterworld is a long-running, high-octane water stunt show with pyrotechnics, actors, explosions, stunts, a friggin' plane, seaplane that flies in. This just looks like Waterworld to me. Now, I do have people telling me that they think it's James Bond. Now, I kind of want to put the brakes on that, and I'll tell you why I want to put the brakes on that. James Bond is now 100% an Amazon Studios / MGM property. It's only in the last few weeks that the Broccolis, yes, that is their name, sold their shares and stake and controlling interest in James Bond to Amazon and MGM Studios, Amazon Studios. So I do think it's going to be Waterworld. And that's not a bad thing, because Waterworld, to this day, wherever they put this show, is extremely popular. People love it. It plays several times a day. And why, if it's not broke or if it ain't broke, would they want to fix it? At the end of the day, Waterworld's not available in Orlando. So why not? And I think when it comes to cloning attractions, Orlando is the main no-no for them. I mean, I think even stuff in Hollywood could make its way over. but Orlando is the no-no, because that is where, I mean, you've got four major Harry Potter attractions in Orlando across their 3 theme parks. You've got the Forbidden Journey, which we will come back to because I do want to talk about Forbidden Journey in a bit. You've got Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Then you've got Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. And then finally, as of May 17th, officially, you've got Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, which does appear to be basically Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man on crack. That's what that ride appears to be. Less screens, more animatronics, much bigger vehicle. Inferno Ride says, I also don't think there'll be any form of a Harry Potter area due to Warner Brothers literally being down the road. We sort of covered that, but like I said, Universal have the theme park rights, so they have the right to do it, and the Warner Brothers Studio Tour is just such a different animal to what Universal would put up. The Universal Studios Tour, the appeal to that is come and see the sets. This is where it was filmed. Also, this is where we're filming the TV show as well. They're going to be filming the HBO TV show there as well. So, is that going to be open much longer? So yeah, different animal, different thing. But I'm going to mark this down as possibly Waterworld. Well, probably Waterworld. And I know people want it to be something like Bond or something like that. But like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I honestly think they're having that attitude as well. So over here, now this is interesting on the back end, because these appear to be either indoor lands like they have in China, or these are individual rides, but this concept art just isn't clear enough for me. I think I see like castles and turrets and things like that here, but I don't think that people should get their hopes up for Potter based on that. I think probably we may see Shrek over here, and it's more like Trolls over the other side. But DreamWorks perhaps being placed in here. Now remember, this is the United Kingdom. And here in the United Kingdom, our climate is crap. Let's just say it as it is. It rains a lot. We barely have a lot of sun. It's crap. So, yeah. So let's move on to the final part, and this will make Shalini very happy. So Holiday Honk says, I think the building at the front is the Poison Apple restaurant from Shrek. No idea about the back show building. It could well be. It could well be. You think it's Shrek or Monsters? Okay. This is pretty much a clone from Universal Studios in Beijing. And this is going to make Shalini in our horizontal chat very happy. Because this is Illumination Land. I name pending. I'm not saying it is going to be called Illumination Land, but right in the middle here, this is the super silly Funland area that is in Universal Studios in Beijing. That roller coaster on top of the building, likely fake. Same as what we have here. We'll have over in Beijing. But inside, there'll be some, kiddies flat rides, lots of Minion-themed games, and there might be a coaster in there as well. But this is Minions. And over here, we've probably got Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, because let's face it, nobody cares if you clone that, because nobody's going to Florida specifically to see Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. It's an easy clone. It's a cheap ride to put in. They know how to do it. They know how it works. Stick it in there. I also see here possibly the Secret Life of Pets Dark Ride. We've certainly got room for it. Yes, Shalini, Minions. Inferno Ride says, my little brother was so happy with the Minions land, it'll be a massive success with the franchise booming. I completely agree. That thing never leaves. But yes, Minions. So super silly, fun land. Probably Despicable Me Minion Mayhem right here. And I think possibly the Secret Life of Pets Dark Ride over here as well. So that is my predictions. Just having a cursory glance at this concept art as to what is going to be within Universal Studios Great Britain day one, phase one. Now I say day one and phase one because they've made it very clear, if you look here, that this area is well open for expansion. This area is well open for expansion. We've got areas down here where the flat car park is, which is, well, this is the flat car park for the hotel. And this could all end up becoming expansion area. We know that they currently have enough land to build 2 parks. That's currently under their belt. And we also know that they have the option to buy more. So, with that in mind, let's talk Potter. Because I personally think that there is going to be a demand for Potter. There's going to be an outcry for Potter. And the safest way to put Potter in the UK park is to simply clone Forbidden Journey. Because they've done it several times already. Forbidden Journey's in Orlando. I believe it's in Tokyo. It's in Hollywood. Is it in Singapore? I'm not sure. And is it in Beijing as well? But Forbidden Journey is the one ride that they have said, yep, let's keep cloning that over and over again. Now, they're not going to clone Hagrid's. They're not going to clone Gringotts. They're not going to clone Battle at the Ministry. But Forbidden Journey, I can see that being cloned and possibly a Hogsmeade or something of that ilk popping up here. Because why not? At the end of the day, Phase 2 expansion will happen. It was always going to happen. And Harry Potter is like printing money. Especially for Universal. The wands, the interactive elements, all of those things are just like printing money. The butterbeer. And the same when it comes to Super Nintendo. Now, do I think we'll see a clone of what they're currently calling Super Nintendo World with Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge, or Donkey Kong Country, Yoshi's Adventure? No. No, I don't. But that doesn't mean I don't see down the line the Nintendo IP not coming into this resort. Because Universal Creative, Universal Parks and Experiences may come up with something completely new. A new concept with the land, because let's face it, once again, it's a license to print money. They're selling Nintendo, they're going to sell Switch stuff, they're going to sell Nintendo plushies, shirts, figures, models, and the Power Up Band system, which is an interactive thing that you put on your wrist and you go dong dong and you get to play with and interact with things within Super Nintendo World. So I see these things and I think, yes, they can come to this resort, but not in the same guise as what we have in Orlando. Universal will come up with something new. Hi there, the Kaiser guy. Tiana says in the horizontal chat, thank you, the Kaiser guy. Butterbeer is absolutely incredible. Now, I haven't been out to Orlando. I haven't been able to try it. And I also haven't ever been to the studio tour. Never been to the studio. We have to do it this year at some point, I would say. We have to do it. So, Amy says the concept drawing looks like it's not a very big park. Well, yes, I agree. But this is just phase 1. You have to remember that. John says, I love the train, and by the train, I believe he's thinking about the Hogwarts Express, which is found at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. And it goes from Diagon Alley, which is in Universal Studios, Florida, the movie park, to Hogsmeade, which is in Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. And they, by use of screens, they make you believe you're traveling from Diagon Alley to Hogwarts, and then you arrive and you step out and you're there. It's a really, really cool looking thing. But yes, I do believe that this is going to be a massive success for the UK, a massive success for Universal, and a massive success for us enthusiasts. Because not only is it going to be an absolute, blinder of an entertainment venue, it's going to force the others to step up their game to compete. Now, I was asked earlier on what I think about what this will do to Disneyland Paris. Well, Disneyland Paris have been extremely embarrassing over the past 6 to 7 years. They announced, it must have been a decade ago now, their expansion to Walt Disney Studios. They said you're getting a Frozen land, you're getting a Star Wars land, you're getting a reimagining of the backlot to Avengers Campus. That happened. The Avengers car park happened. And all they did was build one new ride and really loosely retheme another. But still, they broke ground on Frozen, which is one ride, by the way. One ride, Frozen Ever After, a clone of a 30-year-old boat ride that can be found in Florida. They broke ground on that like 7 years ago. And still, 2026 is the opening. They have announced that they're going to build a Lion King log flume at Disneyland Paris in the patch of land where Star Wars Land was initially meant to be. They cancelled that. When are we going to see that? When are we going to see that open at Disneyland Paris? I think probably the same year as this entire resort gets built, 2031. But does that push Disneyland Paris into action? Does that make them announce the long-awaited third gate? And by long-awaited, I mean contractually obligated, because they have an obligation with the French government to build a third theme park. The only reason they haven't done it is because the government keep giving them extensions, time extensions, time extensions, time extensions. But this is going to pull millions of visitors from across Europe, from the United States, even from Asia. And Disneyland Paris is going to be panicking, or the Walt Disney Company, because that is going to pull guests and revenue from the Walt Disney Company. So, with that in mind, do we think we're going to see... I certainly think we're going to see a barrage of rides announced for Disneyland Paris over the next year or two. Whether we see the third gate announced, who knows? That's up in the air. But Universal are going aggressive, they are going hard, and they are spending when it comes to theme parks and resorts. They are about to open on May 17th, Universal's Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida, which has just taken 5 years to build. They've built an entire theme park in the time that Disneyland Paris have built almost built one Frozen ride. That's a fact. It's embarrassing that Disney are building at this sort of speed. Embarrassing. Disney used to be the leader, the world leader in themed entertainment. But I tell you now, I saw a POV video earlier of Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment at Universal Studios' Epic Universe. And I was blown away. I have never seen animatronic figures move like that. And the blend of animatronics and screens, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And what Universal are doing should have Disney as a company worried, because Disney are no longer the industry leader. I'm sorry, but they're not. Yes, their themed entertainment, their theme parks are great. They are magical. They are fun. But Universal are leading the way. And when it comes to this ride here, up in the top, the Jurassic World Adventure, I urge you to go and look for point of view videos, because this ride is already open and available at Universal Studios Beijing. Disney are building nothing on this level. And they really, really should be worried. I mean, when we look to Florida, I can only imagine that long-rumored 5th Walt Disney World park will probably get rush announced at some point soon. Because Epic Universe lives up to the hype by the looks of things. That Battle of the Ministry ride looks ridiculous. Monsters Unchained, as I said, I saw a POV of it earlier on. I have never in my life seen anything quite like it. They've got Stardust Racers, the dual Mac launch coasters. It's game, set, match for Universal at this point. And it's not like Disney don't have the ability, the money, or, the know-how to get back on top. And hopefully, Universal's aggressive strategy of building one theme park, getting it open, immediately starting construction on another theme park, but having these theme parks be world-class, hopefully, that is enough to push Disney to once again create well-themed, huge, beautiful attractions and theme parks. Because, do you know what? If that does happen, then the only people that really win are us. Are the people that visit these places looking to be taken away, taken out of our lives, taken from, a real world and into a world of fantastical... I don't know. But when these companies push one another, the only people that win are us, the audience. But that is our live stream for tonight. So, thank you very much if you have popped along. Please stick a like on it. Oh, well, if you guys want to have a little chat, actually, before we do go. You guys want to have a little chat? I don't mind that. We can stick around for a little bit, for like another 10-15 minutes. We can have a little chat about it. I'm going to go over the chat, actually. So Matt's talking about Jurassic World, see potential of How to Train Your Dragon. Holiday Honk, the TV show will be out by the time this park is built, so if they did do Harry Potter, I wonder if it would still be based on the original movie cast or not. Well, it's a very good question, that. So, yes, I actually concur. So, to Amy in our chat, who comes along to the shows very often, thank you very much for coming along tonight as well. But happy birthday to you. Yeah, it's my wife's birthday on Sunday. No, John, I was starting at 7. What made you think I was starting at 7:30? Jeez. But we are absolutely going to stick with this Universal Resort. We are going to be giving construction updates on a regular basis starting at the end of this month, right up until the resort opens. So I hope you guys stick with us for those. Can I play Fortnite again later? Yes. In about half an hour's time. I don't mind doing that. Don't mind doing that at all. And yeah, it is nice to know, Shalini, that there will be minions. Sorry that was more of a monologue type stream tonight, but I really just wanted to go over it all, take a look, see what we think is going on, what I think is going in there. And once again, I could be wrong about some of it. Potentially we're wrong about Back to the Future. It does certainly look like it could be Hill Valley, doesn't it? Potentially I could be wrong about Waterworld, although I don't think I am. As I said, the old adage goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and the universal audience turns up for Waterworld, no matter what park they put it in. Tiana says, I'm happy there is a possibility of Potter, but like I said, I don't think there is a possibility of Potter in Phase 1. But knowing all of the ancillary ways that they can make money on franchises like Potter and Super Nintendo, it would be dumb for them not to, down the line, include them in some way. Because then they can sell the wands, they can sell the power-up bands. So I genuinely think they will make their way into the resort eventually, in some way. But we have to remember, the last thing Universal want to do is stop their UK audience from wanting to go to their Florida parks. Because they are one of the biggest foreign demographics going to the Floridian parks. And that's why I believe the only thing that will probably be properly cloned from Florida is from Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, because nobody gives two damns about that ride, and it's just a way, to fill capacity. Put it that way. John says, Waterworld wasn't there last time I was at Universal. It's not Florida. It's not in Florida. It's in California. It's in Japan. I think it's in Beijing as well. So it could even be in Singapore as well. I'm not terribly sure. But it's not in Florida. And that's why it's possible, and I think even likely, that it's going to go into the UK. Same with Jurassic World Adventure. That is not in any other park than Universal Studios Beijing. And yet, there we see it. And I'm pretty certain we can lock on and say that is the Jurassic World Adventure. That's going to be a clone of what's going in Beijing. And that should get people very excited. And I urge you, if you really want to see what that is, go look it up. I don't want to put on a PO. I was thinking about putting on a POV of it here. But I don't want to spoil it, because I know there are people even in this chat right now who have told me they don't want to be spoiled with the Jurassic World Adventure. So, yeah. I just don't want to do that. John says, well, how was Waterworld wasn't even an 80s movie, John. It's a 90s movie. Anywho, I'm gonna call it. I think a 50-minute stream talking about this. Pretty okay, pretty all right. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like on either the horizontal or the vertical. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stick with us as we bring construction updates galore over the next 6 years. Not just construction updates, but we do theme parks, we do travel, we do disability access, we do movie reviews, we build Lego, we do so much here. And we'd love for you to come along for the ride. So first of all, to the